Hi, everyone. Welcome to The Watchers. We're The Watchers. I'm Victoria Burt with Killer Shop Films.
And I'm Kevin Marable with blackscript.com.
Good to see you, Kev.
Hey, what's going on?
Lots going on. We're
You got
very excited today. We're very excited. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about a good movie, but first, some housekeeping. Give us a subscribe, give us a follow. Definitely go over to our Patreon and sign up. We could use the support, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to, you're like, yes. Go to our website, check us out. You can watch our shows on YouTube. You can listen to us on Spotify. We are getting some traction on YouTube, which is really super exciting. And I got to say, it makes me happy. We even got somebody emailed us about wanting to do an interview with us.
Yeah, it's been great. And things are starting to take off, which is amazing to watch happen in real time. But also add to what Victoria said is also add some comments in the comment section. Don't be afraid to talk to us.
Definitely
Give us
interact. Give us if you don't agree with us, because I know I can talk a lot of nonsense. You know what I mean? It's like,
me too.
Right? We just talk. I was cutting our Scream 7 episode, and boy, I was like, I'm not mad at some of those ideas, but I can definitely get in my head.
I think we came up with a great idea at the tail end, honestly.
I almost cut it out. I was like, don't steal our ideas. But I actually today we're going to be talking about Crime 101.
Yes.
Which we both just saw and like 2 days ago. And I have a little surprise for you because I have a plot for the next movie all ready to go.
Okay.
All right. So you want the next movie. Okay. So do you want to give the plot and tell us who's in it, or
yeah?
Okay.
Absolutely. Crime 101 is a 2026 crime thriller directed by Bart Layton and based on the novella by Don Winslow. I didn't know it was based on a novella. The film follows a sophisticated jewel thief operating along California's famous 101 freeway who has managed to evade authorities by carefully following a strict set of rules known among criminals as Crime 101. When he plans the biggest heist of his career, his path crosses with a disillusioned insurance broker and a relentless detective who believes he has finally uncovered a pattern in the robberies. As the heist draws closer, alliances shift and the lines between hunter and hunted begin to blur, forcing each of them to confront life-changing decisions with no turning back.
I went in really not knowing very much about this movie, and thankfully...
Me either, besides the trailer. I saw the trailer. And
we saw it during our... Check out this episode that we did about our tier list for the 2026 movies. And if I remember, you were really hot on this movie.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Halle Berry's in it,
And I was like, yeah, maybe, but then when I found out it was a heist movie, I love heist movies.
Yes.
Love them, right? So that combined with Halle, I was like, all right, I'll go see it. And I don't know about you, but we've just had such a poor showing so far in 2026 with the movies that...
Man, I know.
And so I was like, let me just go to this. I called one of my friends, a girlfriend of mine. I was like, let's go see this movie. And it was a packed theater, and it was a Saturday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And we can both say I was sad and it was worth it. What did I text you after I left that theater?
Yes.
All caps.
Yes.
All caps. You have to go.
Yes. Go see this movie. And so I went to go see it the next morning.
Yeah.
And it did not disappoint. I feel like this was a sleeper. I feel like it didn't get as much publicity that it deserved because this is really a good movie.
It was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good. All right, let's talk about the characters. You want to break them down?
Yeah, I'll go through the main cast. Obviously, we have Chris Hemsworth, plays Mike. Mark Ruffalo as Detective Lou. Halle Berry as Sharon. Barry Keoghan as Orman. I never knew.
Or Chaos. Chaos. I called him Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Monica Barbaro as Maya. Jennifer Jason Leigh as Angie Lubensnick.
The wife.
Which is, Lou's estranged wife. And Nick Nolte as Money.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. So, like you said at the top, that this is a story really that follows three people, right?
Right.
It follows a thief, a cop, and then an insurance broker, right?
Three different stories, really.
3 different stories, and they intertwine.
Yes.
But let's start at the beginning, because what happens at the very beginning of this movie became actually for me a tiny little plot hole. But I didn't even care. I was just like, it doesn't even matter, because this movie is serving me every single thing that I love.
Yes.
Okay. But it starts with the DNA scrub. You know, he's sloughing off all the DNA off his body,
right,
because he's about to prepare for a crime. One can only assume, right?
Right.
You just see DNA and skin cells like flying. Yeah.
Everywhere.
And we're introduced to him, and we don't really know what's going on. It's like 5:20 in the morning, and it did this amazing narration of voiceover with a sort of robotic mantra meditation,
like a wellness coach almost.
It was fantastic, right? Yeah. And it had them all, except for the cop. The cop is not there, and Halle Berry, like them waking up to this morning, right? And he's getting ready, and also these other guys that you don't really know who they are, but you know they're like traveling with something, and and then we meet the first marks, right? We meet those first 2 guys that are going in to the jewelry store, and you know the one guy doesn't have his normal security. He's got his cousin, you know, with a revolver, which I thought was hysterical. I was like,
that wasn't loaded. It wasn't loaded.
Right, like a revolver, like a 6-shooter. Yeah. Like it was crazy. They go into the store, and it was so interesting, because what this movie did so well was it took you down a road you thought you knew, and then made a left.
Yeah.
Right. It never did for me. It never did exactly what I expected it to do. Which is what made it so joyful to watch. You know. Yeah. So instead of him jacking the guys initially, he goes after the courier, which is the guy who's going to secure their drive from the diamonds to wherever I don't even know where they're taking the diamonds, quite frankly. Yeah. But he's got a set of fake diamonds in his briefcase and some real gems strapped to his leg.
Yes.
Right?
To his ankle.
To his ankle. And Chris, we should also say this is going to spoil every single thing. So just prepare yourself. Everything is going to get spoiled.
If you haven't watched it, come back to this.
Come back.
See it. Yes.
And one of the things that we noticed about what's Chris's character's name? Mike or James.
Or James. Right. We find out James later, but Mike.
Right. That Mike is methodical. He is organized. He is patient. Right. And he puts the original security guard in the trunk and then follows the guys to a location where he robs them. But he's robbing them with such intent to cause the least amount of harm. He's like, don't fight for this. This is not your stuff. It's covered by insurance.
He's a non-violent thief. He's a non-violent thief.
The tension, it was so great. It was such a classic example of like, if you see a gun, use a gun, and the tension that gun created. Because remember when he was in the jewelry store, that the cousin, the guy gave him, I guess it was a Glock. I don't know guns that well, but like, I don't know guns at all. I don't know when we said it like that. But he gave him like what looked like an automatic, right? And when Chris was like, throw your guns in the car, and you know that other pistol, the revolver, is still there. The tension. Yeah. I was like, oh my God. You know,
you kind of forget for a split second, because as he's saying, toss all your phones, toss everything over. And if any of your weapons, toss all of that over. But then the camera, you know, obviously pans to the gun at the last minute. And then you're like, oh, but he has the other gun. And that's why they focused on the gun, you know, early on.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I think I just talked straight for 10 minutes. Tell me, I was so excited about this movie. Tell me what your impressions, like, what are your first thoughts when you think about after you left the theater?
Oh, after I left the theater,
Mhm.
I was pumped. I was excited. It's one of those movies where I felt like, more people needed to see this. I was surprised by the fact that my theater only had 2 showings for the entire day. And it just got me to realize, how much this film wasn't really marketed. I besides a few interviews I saw Halle make, I didn't really see Mark Ruffalo, promo this movie. Didn't see Chris Hemsworth promo this movie. Maybe I wasn't looking in the right places, but you really didn't see too much about it. But from the trailer, because I watched the trailer early on, we watched the trailer and we talked about it early on. I was excited about it first because obviously it's Halle Berry. I'm a huge Halle Berry fan. But secondly, because this is a heist movie and the trailer sold me. I thought this was going to be good from the jump. And just, to our surprise, it was definitely a great watch and more than I expected, I should say.
Me too, more than I expected. I thought it would be good, but I was riveted. I was tense.
Yeah.
I didn't know what was going to happen. And it felt like this mashup of fantastic crime heist movies, right?
Right.
I also thought the setting, it being set in LA, was so great because it looked like it was really shot in LA. Like I lived in LA briefly, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know that, and the person I was with was from LA and she was like, oh yeah, that's blah, blah. And it was like under the highways and behind the things and in the beach towns. Like I almost moved to Redondo. So I was like,
Mark turned down that one road that goes down the deep slope to get to his new apartment.
Yes.
That looked very much
that looked like a very real beach town. It was great. And it reminded me of like when I saw like Heist or Point Break or that feeling that Ocean's 11 when you watch a movie where you don't quite know what's going to happen and you're trying to figure it out and you're like, oh, it just like keeps twisting.
I'll tell you one thing that it did remind me of, and I don't want the comparison to be it's not exactly the same thing, but it did sort of remind me of Task.
Oh, see, I didn't even think of that.
Mark Ruffalo kind of had the similar role.
Yeah.
And he's going after the bad guys. He had a hunch on something, so that aspect of it kind of reminded me of Task, but more of a high-paced version. I feel like Task was more slow burn.
Much slower, much of a slow burn. Yeah, and more procedural about the cops, right? Than there's a loaded gun in every direction, right?
Right.
The heist that could go wrong, the lunatic that's after him, the girl who
that too.
Okay, but let's talk about these characters. So Mike is this meticulous, slightly on the spectrum, definitely traumatized,
introverted, highly
introverted. It's very difficult to make a man that attractive feel so distant, right? And not able to connect. And that's my own preconceived notions about what it must feel like to be that attractive. But he really landed that. I really believed his sort of shell that he had around him. Yeah, it was really good.
There were a lot of scenes where he kind of spoke with his eyes and his face.
Oh God!
More so than him actually talking. But when he did talk, you paid attention to how careful he was with his words and his answers.
Yeah, and you believed him. He was phenomenal. Portrait of somebody who's got a lot of secrets. Got a lot of secrets. Ruffalo plays the police officer. I mean, what a interesting character, right?
He plays those characters well, I think.
Yeah, he went from being doughy dad bod, not attractive to kind of swag at the end. You know what I mean? Like I was like,
when he was ready for the party for the wedding.
Yes, I was like, okay, sir, put that tie on. And my friend and I were both like, I mean, I don't know. I make sure you get a piece of that. Halle, because he's looking yummy now.
Yeah.
But what I liked about him so much is that they flipped again the cliche of that cop who has the right, that Gary Busey from Point Break character who knows that the bank, the dead presidents, and he had his crime 101 guy, right? This elite thief. But the cops didn't care. They were like, don't screw up our close numbers, whatever that was called.
I like that about.
So did I. I thought that was great.
But
it was different.
What was good about the writing from my viewpoint was that each one of the stories had a separate side dilemma.
Facts.
And everybody had something that
everybody had stakes and that they wanted.
Yes.
And
so now
very clearly and let me just interject, and very clearly stated. We were very clear, right?
You understood on every front.
Beautiful writing.
And once the stories get to a certain point, they all intersect.
Yeah.
And
they have to decide whether or not they're worth it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Mark's desire to be right and to get the guy and to prove his partner that he's still worthy and prove that his department is still to his department that he's still the guy, like when the guy who played his captain was like, you should be in my job,
he's washed up a little bit. Like, what happened?
Right. Yeah. That person that does the right thing, but just never gets the moment, right? Yeah. Never gets them or never sells out, whichever that is. Right. And then we have Halle, who, my God, what a great portrayal of what it feels like to be a Black woman.
I thought so too. I thought that was great that was even written into the story.
Yeah,
to be a Black woman, but not only that, to be a Black woman of a certain age.
Yes, and she is. There's a very specific, and if I just may categorize myself of having had experienced this, when you're a pretty person, like I don't think I'm an ugly person. If you're a pretty person and then you age past where it's just easy because you get a pretty pass,
right?
It's a very specific feeling.
Yeah.
And she was playing that feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
She was the other side too.
Yeah. Yes.
See it.
It was really nuanced. And I thought, man, she really was able to show and tell us, but also really show us what it felt like. Even just how she started, where she's just putting on all the makeup, all the war paint, right? Putting on all the war paint. And, very revealing clothing, and she looks beautiful, right? And even that first scene with, is it Tate Donovan? Is that it? Yeah, Tate Donovan, where she meets the millionaire, and she's trying to close him. It was such a great moment when it's like, make that shot and I'll sign the check. And she doesn't make the shot, right? Which is like, you missed it.
Right.
It's just such a clear thing.
But it helps set up her part of her story.
Exactly.
It helped set it up perfectly.
Yeah. Right. And then they put the cherry on the pie when she's like, "Oh, your daughter," and he's like, "My wife," and it was like, "Shut off."
Right. He was like, "I'm wrapping up now, honey."
It just tells you everything about her world.
Yeah.
Right. Her world right now. And then we have Chaos. I didn't even know his name was Ormond either.
Neither did I. I didn't. I was gonna say motorcycle guy.
I really he was a menace. He was chaos.
Yes.
He was
perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I know. I don't think he was Nick Nolte's son, but the two.
I don't even know.
Together, if they did a side movie that could play father and son, and they could just wreak havoc.
First of all, that's another thing that's really great. It's really unclear what the hell was going on.
Right.
How they knew each other. Right. You just dropped in and it's perfect.
Yeah.
And
I didn't even know Nick Nolte's name was Money. I just knew it was Nick Nolte.
I called him Fence.
Fence. Okay.
Right. Because after the movie, I went to dinner and we just talked. I was like, Fence, bike guy, Chaos. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't remember anybody's name. He was great, and then we have Nick. We have Nick Nolte, who it was nice to see him. Then we have Maya, right, who was the girlfriend,
right.
who it was an interesting character. It was an interesting character. She was very much, I would love to read this book. She was very much to me written by a dude
Yes.
as the cool girl, you know, and let me just say the four women that we really see, the other, who was Jennifer Jason Leigh, who played Ruffalo's wife, who had, I think, about 6 minutes in the whole thing.
Say,
she put that ball all the way in the back. She hit the. She's such a good actress. You knew everything about her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But I thought it was so interesting, and I said this to my friend: the two women actresses, the two Jennifer Jason and Halle Berry, are women. You know, I don't know how old actually either of them are, but you know, over 50.
Right.
Who have experience, and they understand how to have a woman character have layers.
Yeah.
Right. These layers, and that I was missing a few notes from Maya, but she felt a little about about getting
still young and
still young,
naive and impressionable.
Well, I mean, I don't know about all that, but
I think she kind of fell head over heels based upon Mike's looks first and foremost, and then his smooth character, and so she let a lot slide, not knowing, allowing him to continue to be a mystery to her until it got to a point to where she was fed up with the mystery.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about this first heist, because there's a really big point that I want to make about it. So the first heist, right? The editing in this movie was extraordinary.
Oh, it was great.
It was extraordinary.
The transitions of
unbelievable, unbelievable, right? Like the crash cuts, the smash cuts, the cross cutting, the getting dressed, the shirts.
Yes,
there was unbelievable.
Yeah,
there was one that I have to tell you. I was watching. Remember the scene when Mike takes Maya to eat, right, on their first date, right?
Right.
And she's like, "You like this place?" And he's like, "No, not really." I'm like, ugh. Is this going to be the thing where the girl doesn't like the fancy food and they're going to cut to? And so in my head, I'm getting annoyed, right? So in my head, I go, is it going to be tacos? Is it going to be?
Yeah.
It's going to be some bullshit. It's going to be some delicious Mexican food in California. It's going to be a Mexican place or a burger place or the hot dog place in LA, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so then they crash cut to the hamburger in the menu, but it's not them.
Oh, no.
It was so good.
Another story.
But they knew our expectation and they played with it. And I thought, well, now you've got my full attention.
Right.
It was marvelous. I was so impressed with that move because they continue to do it. They continue to play with, we're going to go down this road, but we're not going to do what you think we're going to do. We're going to zigzag. So he's making his getaway from the first crime back to the first sort of like sequence. That chase scene, it's not really being chased. He's fleeing.
Right. He's in a panic because it didn't go down the way he quite planned.
Right. And it reminded me a little tiny bit of Pulp Fiction, right? Yeah. With the, the holes behind him, right? Right. When they shoot the guns. And he doesn't realize till later when he looks at the ski mask that there was shrapnel or something, right? And there was blood.
Well, yes, and he was checking to see if he was hit anywhere, but he couldn't find it at the time.
But there was blood. Remember, you saw the little blood.
I thought that was later, because later when he was going to check the mask, and he had to dab a paper towel or something with water, and you noticed blood there. Yeah.
So here was my confusion about that. So he takes the car. I was like, where's he going? What's he doing? Yeah. Drives it into the underground. Right. When he put the
cover over it,
I thought, oh, now we're thinking, right? Yeah. I was like, I like that, right? The cover over it.
Right.
Because
but it was planned at the same time, because you didn't realize it until he gets out of the car and he gets into the car next to him.
Right next to it. Beautiful. Right? So then now here was my sort of my feeling about this. When he found the little blood, why wouldn't he go back to the car?
I thought the same exact thing.
Okay, so that was but I forgive it. I I was just like, why? Like, you were scrubbing DNA off your body.
As I'm watching it, I was thinking the same thing, but at the same time, I'm also thinking, but do I go back to potentially where I could get caught? What if somebody finds the car? What if somebody discovers the car a lot faster than I'm expecting? So maybe I don't go back to the car because that could.
Okay, that's a fair point. But yes, I don't disagree with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the scene at the top when he is scrubbing cells off his body,
right,
really implies an understanding of leaving behind DNA.
Yes.
Right? Lou said over and over and over again, this guy does not leave DNA. They made that a really big point. Mm-hmm. So for that character to see the blood, it would be different if he didn't see it.
Right.
I mean, they made it a point of showing the blood on the finger.
Mm-hmm.
Part of I wish they had just put one scene in when he had tried to go back, even if it was after they found it and he like goes in and sees them and then goes away, just to like close that circle for us, for that character. Right. Now, I did have a thought. Remember when he was driving and Maya hits him? That's how they meet, right? That's a little cliche, but okay. Yeah. So Maya hits him, and girl, someone wants to offer you a wad of money. Take the money.
Exactly. Like, she was like, but no, this is my boss car.
Okay, so I'm honestly, I'm like, I don't even care. Right. So it's like John Wick. John Wick fell down, John Wick movies. I don't even care. Like, he fell down like 75 flights of steps and he's still walking. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I love it. Right?
No limp or nothing.
Nothing. So I thought maybe he was where was he going when he got hit by Maya? Maybe that's where he was going.
Possibly.
Right? I was ready to make excuses.
Yeah, we never find out there. So that's possible.
Right.
He very well could have been trying to, retrace his steps. And this incident happens, and, that's how they cross paths. And then, so now a new timeline has opened up in his eyes. Yes.
Right.
Because before he was just picking up women, and paying for them.
Yeah. And I thought it was so interesting. I loved that hooker, by the way, the sex worker. I loved the way they played that scene. It was so great. It didn't feel dirty, which I hate when they do that. I mean, I think, quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with it at all. If that's how he has to get human interaction. But it just showed how shut down he was.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That he just couldn't handle. He needed it to be transactional.
Right. Exactly.
But so let's talk a little bit about Lou is on the look for this Crime 101 guy, and then we have Halle, who's introduced after we've seen her waking up and blowing the deal, and she goes to the meeting and she's introduced to the new shiny penny in the office. Right, girl. It's just that you, girl. Kevin, I've been in those meetings.
Right. No, and I understand, but before then, leading up to that, they made it a point to show you every morning she woke up how she was losing sleep, how she's busting her ass to make partner.
To make partner, right.
How much she cares about her job and cares about landing the deal, that she's losing sleep behind it.
Well, I'm going to give you a secondary point.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily that she cares about her job. I think it's that she's invested 11 years in the job.
Well, that's what I mean.
And she wants to get her payday.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And she's still being pimped out.
Yeah.
Right? And they are dangling the carrot of partner.
Right.
Okay. And so her lack of sleep is I think intuitively knows she's not getting what she wants. They owe her. She's probably closed millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of deals and made them money. And she's been working there 11 years.
Yeah.
And they're just
one of their biggest performers.
Yeah. And when they were like, we're gonna let so-and-so close that deal, I was like,
yeah, you can see it on her face. She wanted to say something in the meeting, but she chose not to because she didn't want to look like the angry black woman.
Of course, right? You think you can still play it. You think you can still play it, right? And they are counting on that. They are counting on you not, and flash forward even when she was like, look, just tell me. right? Just be straight with me, and I'll have decisions to be made. I'll make decisions and take my clients. And he's like 53 or whatever he said, 54.
Right.
I was like, you smarmy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so what did you think about when Lou and Sharon first meet? Remember when she went down to the beach, right? Because the insurance company's like, we don't want to pay them out. So like, put them on a lie detector test, and she's got to get the detectives to do that. That's when they first met, right?
When put on the lie detector test. I'm trying to remember that.
Because that's how Lou and Sharon met, right? He went down. She asked to meet him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And because she wanted to get them to put the guys who own the jewelry stores on a lie detector test to see if they were involved with the heist, right? And that's when she said the thing about the patterns, that she can see the patterns, and that's how he got the idea to run the patterns of all heists.
Because the jeweler was upset at the fact that he had to do the lie detector test to begin with, and he was the victim. Yeah,
I mean, sure, he's the victim, but I would have wanted to lie detector him too.
Right.
Most robberies are inside jobs. Yeah, I would. I thought the same. I was like, of course you have to prove that you didn't do it. Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get why they were angry, but like, that's what insurance companies do. Insurance companies don't want to pay you money.
Right. And I thought that was brilliant to even go that route to show the side of the insurance company and why you would go after the insurer to gain the information to pull out the heist.
Yeah, it was really good.
Who thinks of that?
I love it. Okay, so so she, at that meeting when she first meets Lou, they had a little vibe. They had a little vibe because that's where he got the idea to go to the beach town, right?
Right.
She gives him that speech about patterns and knowing things, and he goes back and he makes this amazing presentation to his squad about the 101, and the next one will be north, and it turns out to be north, right, in Santa Barbara.
Right.
And when this is the moment, I think, when when Lou's character knew he was, one of the first times he really knew that this career route he was on was over, when his captain was like, don't screw up our closer rates. Or
when he was realizing the corruption. He was seeing and hearing the corruption in front of him.
Yeah, it was really great. All right, so let's talk a little bit about money. So money.
Yeah.
So he gets rid of these diamonds, and
we don't know a whole lot about money. Money.
Money is just sitting there.
Yeah, money is a mystery. Is he just sitting there?
Like he said, you know where to find me. Like he's just sitting there at the ramen spot.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. He never moves, but
he never.
But he remains the mystery, and I know, with age, and I don't know if he has anything else going on, but the raspiness in his voice and the way he talks, and it's so careful of how he's saying things, but you can still see the seriousness on his face.
Yeah, he was unnerving. Unnerving. Yeah. And what was unnerving for me about that character was he's obviously, I mean, we don't know anything about him, but he's obviously extremely dangerous and abusive, manipulative. And the minute that Mike is like, I just want to pause.
Right.
Like he didn't even say he wouldn't do it, right? He just was like, just give me a minute. I'm working on something else. The Santa Barbara job might be a little too hot right now.
Right.
But I'm working on something. Money was like, bing, call chaos, right? He called chaos. He called, I swear I don't know how to pronounce this guy. Ormond,
yeah. Barry Keoghan.
Okay. And sicked that crazy puppy on him.
Man.
And at first it was just follow him around. Right.
But he was sloppy with it, I thought.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't even think it was sloppy. I just don't think he cared.
No, he did not care.
He was like, so you see me? Oh, you want to beat me up? Oh, you want to throw me into a refrigerator? He liked it. He was crazy.
He was
It was terrifying. There were times that I was covering my eyes because I was so petrified of where he was coming from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, okay, so the first he slaps the tracer on
Mike's car.
He follows him.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment this is how little he cared. He just sitting out on smoking a cigarette outside his window.
Exactly. And Mike noticed it only from the
light,
the embers of the cigarette.
Yeah. Very observant, but also could care less. Right. Mm-hmm. And the difference is that you're watching so-and-so sees you. If you don't move, you could just be sitting there smoking a cigarette.
Right.
But he
made it obvious.
And then, oh my God.
Now here's where there's a plot hole here.
Okay, tell me.
Well, it's not a hole, I wouldn't say, but this caught my attention. From there, Mike quickly makes
I know exactly what you're about
to say. To relocate.
Yeah.
But Maya never know, like,
honey. I just called you honey. I'm sorry. Kevin.
Maya, if I'm Maya,
this is what I mean about Maya. Maya's character was poorly written as a woman.
Yeah, if I'm Maya, I'm going to be like,
he said,
"What? I just saw your place.
Now with your 7 books,
right?
And your no photos, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, get me another beach house. Now we're at the White House, right?
Right. All white. Yes.
Beautiful. But and immediately in my head when I saw that shot, I was like, what's she gonna say? But they never show her again.
Nope.
And I guarantee you it's for that reason.
Yeah.
They were like, we can't deal with her. We got too many balls in the air.
The next time they're together, they're out shopping or out in the town, and then after that they go to have lunch or whatever. And by that time she's tired of his BS, basically.
Right. So the next scene is her outside. They're like at some mall or something, and he gets a call and he's got to go.
Yeah.
Right. Because he sees the beach shot from Halle Berry's character, so he knows she's in. And then the next scene after that is, I'm tired of your shit.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So they ignored the hole. They pretended the hole was. They ignored the hole.
I think they probably realized it.
They were like,
we're just gonna leave.
That was definitely a note on the car if they focus group this movie. Right. And so let's talk about a few other Lou points. So we meet Lou's wife, when he's having his moment of peace on the toilet.
Yeah.
And then when she's breaking up with him. Oof, that scene.
Yeah.
How many times have you cheated on me? Do you really want to know? Oh my God.
I know. Brutal.
Brutal. And then he was like, you know what? You stay. Right? Third plot hole. How can he afford a beach apartment? even a dumpy beach apartment
in LA or Santa Barbara next to the beach.
Where? Like I don't even know what the worst beach town is, but I can't imagine, but what? Okay. I let it go.
He had a beachfront view too.
Okay. All right. I let it go.
Yeah.
Okay. I let it go. But I was like, that's interesting. So we also get to meet the Google connection for Mike.
Yeah.
How he finds out all this information, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Right. But chaos is following behind him.
Man.
And just coming in hot every time.
Yes. Several occasions. With the hacker, and then again with Halle, you know. And
it was so intense.
Yeah. One thing that I would have done once I knew that chaos was on my trail, I would have, and I realized I had a tracker. What I would have done is, if I had to circle back to that car, I would have put that tracker on the car in the garage. That way, at least it points back to chaos, not me.
All right. So he never goes back to the car in the garage.
No.
But when they find a shot of the car turning, because I was like, I know there's a lot of cameras in LA. So they finally show that, and they're like, "Oh, this is the last point we saw it." And between here and the 101, between here and the 101, let's check all 30 miles.
Yeah, every garage or every you're right, 30 miles, something like that.
Why he clued in on this one particular car? I let it go.
Yeah,
I would have shown me what? There's a lot of cars that put dust covers on. A lot of people do that.
But in the movie, they only showed the one car that had the dust cover on it. That's it. You know, so I think that was to make it stand out in his eyes. Why would this car be covered?
I would have preferred, because think about this: when the car had a window shut out.
Yeah.
His window on the left, when he's driving on his left.
Right.
If he had gotten out of the car, glass would have fallen on the floor. I would have preferred if Mark would have been walking the parking lot and seen glass on the floor. That would have been more believable to me than just any random covered car.
True. And you know, once they found it, and then, you know, they taped it off, and they had the detectives come in and inspect it. The other detective, the random detective that came to them and said,
right, who threw the gun.
Yeah, what he said is like squeaky clean, except we found a drop of blood that might have some DNA evidence on it. So maybe at some point he must have gone back to that car and cleaned it, or he cleaned it before he covered it. Because like to your point, the glass shattering, where did all of that go? Or maybe it's just,
I think squeaky clean meaning like no DNA.
Got it. Yeah.
That's what I think he means. No DNA. Yeah. I want to see this movie again because I feel like there might be some more wiggle room in this storyline here about this DNA thing. Because I feel like, did he have on gloves? I don't remember. Maybe he did.
Yeah.
I don't.
He did.
He did. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting, right? It reminded me of that movie Gattaca, where the guy's like, you know, Jude Law's like scrubbing his DNA to like, you know, share it with Ethan Hawke, you know. DNA is always a slippery slope with crime movies, you know. So, but okay, so they have his DNA when we see his history.
Right.
It went by really fast. So I saw foster care. I saw things, you know, there's abuse and
right. And then Lou goes
high IQ. Yeah. Right. Which she did not. That did not feel like a safe place.
No, she was quick to call him.
I was like, that is not a loving scenario.
And he should have known right there not to answer the call. If he doesn't get calls from her on the regular, that should have been the sign right there to don't take this call.
But I thought actually that was a very interesting choice.
Yeah.
When all you know is that, and they reach out.
Very true.
It's very like, okay, so just
it's almost like, let me check in just to be sure.
Why is she calling? You want to believe that it's from a loving place,
right?
Yeah. And maybe you want to believe that this person, despite what they did to you, is looking out for you. But you see, as soon as I don't think he even spoke. Did he speak? What did he say when he called?
He might have said 2 words. He might have said, you know, asking the foster mother, you know, is everything okay? Something to that effect.
Yeah.
And she responds, and then Lou takes the phone from her.
Yeah. She and the way she even said it, there were cops look. She didn't say it in the present tense. She didn't say he's sitting over there.
Yeah.
It was shady. I was like, oof.
Right.
You are trash. You are trash. And by this time, he had approached Sharon. I loved this whole interaction between him and Sharon. You know, the meet cute of like
waiting for the cars,
waiting for the cars, and you know the sexy sort of like repartee about the car, and you know, you can feel that it's such an interesting scenario when she is turning up the charm, you know, and turning up the game. And she doesn't know whether to turn it up towards, is this a possible client? Or what is this? Right. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't know quite which dial to turn up.
Yeah. She knows he's interesting. She knows he comes from money.
And he's obviously gorgeous.
Right. Because of their conversation.
Right.
And so
but she doesn't think he's rich though. She thinks he's rich, but she doesn't think he comes from money. Because remember
right. But she, well, like you said, she thinks he's rich because he says, well, my car today. And she was like, oh.
Right. And he knows what he's doing. Right.
Yeah.
He knows what he's dangling the carrot. Right.
Yeah.
And then they show up. He shows up again at that event, and then he drops the. She just lays him down. She's like, "Here's all the things that I see," and he's like, "Well, here's what I see."
Yeah, she could read him like a book.
Yeah, and then he flips it. You know, and I thought that was such an interesting moment when she's first presented with the idea of double crossing the insurance company that she's worked for.
Right.
You know, I'm not a thief, I'm not a crook, I'm all these things.
Right. And now she has two dilemmas.
Yeah.
Because she's also still fighting for her namesake at her job and her livelihood, and then on the flip side, she sees what's happening in real time at her job, and now she's presented with, if you help me here, why do you even care about these guys? These guys are scumbags, and it's not their money, it's not their you guys steal from us anyway. You guys are thieves too.
Right. Of course. They're legal thieves.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So, but what's interesting is I was thinking of it as
the morality.
Let me make this clear. No, I have no problems with it. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a very Robin Hood kind of girl. Okay. Right. I got no problems with it. Okay. But what I do think is she would have been caught.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would have came in and questioned them, the police, and she would have folded like a chair, like a folding chair, like a lawn chair. She would have been like, wouldn't have held up.
Technically, she kind of did. She kind of did.
I mean, but I was thinking that when she was first presented with it, right? Yeah. And then I was like, girl, don't do it because you don't have it. Yeah. You don't have the face. You don't have the game. That ain't you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when she goes to the office and they're like, they tell her, like, you're 50. What are you going to do? Where are you going? You wait till January, and then she
had her. They thought they had her, and that she was going nowhere because of her age. She's going to stay put right where she's at,
Yeah. And that is a very true point of view that employers have.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, data about how they consider people, different categories of people,
right,
who they can pass over, who they can not give raises to.
Yeah.
And it is
they say
it's diabolical.
And she laid it out to him. He'd been there for 5 years. He got made partner in 7, or at the 7th year. Here she is at 11 years, still trying to make partner, and it's not as easy for her.
No.
And here comes this new young hot chick that they're going to use, just like they use Halle.
Exactly.
Drawing new clients, and it's the same story all over again.
And she was great. And so then she tells the girl what she did. People clapped.
Yeah.
In the movies.
Yeah.
They clapped. They were like, yeah, me and my friend were like, yes,
Right. And that's something that you don't expect to happen.
Yeah.
Especially within the writing. I'm glad that they wrote that in, because typically, you'll just see the person walk away, or, decide to commit the crime, but not necessarily, approach the person face to face and say what they really truly feel.
I would bet you that she was involved in that scene.
Oh yeah, I think so. To make it more,
to make it have more meat, because it felt like layered and great, and it didn't feel like she was trying to bitch out that girl. She was really trying to say, you don't have to do this.
Yeah, she's trying to save her before it's too late. Yeah.
Right. And then let's talk about this. Then we have Lou, who now he's made this case for this crime 101 guy, and they actually have somebody they got a lot of robberies up in LA. Somebody try to rob something and they shoot him.
Yeah.
And the chubby cop plants the gun, and now he's suspended because he won't.
I wasn't expecting that either, but that was
great.
That was
great. And it was a nice twist.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And then when it's so interesting, because if money had not set if money had not set Chaos or Ormond on Mike's character, he would have probably done San Diego.
Right.
Excuse me. He would have probably done Santa Monica.
Mm-hmm.
No, he would have probably done Santa Barbara. He would have done Santa Barbara, and he would have done the insurance heist, and he would have done it clean, and he would have had all the money.
Right.
So money created this mess.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
from his
Because-
seat. From his seat.
Right, from his little corner by the ramen bar. Right?
Yeah.
And so I keep calling him Chaos. Orman attacks the Google guy, gets the information, attacks Sharon and gets the information, which causes Sharon to flip. She flipped in like a day.
Yeah. I mean, but she was afraid, like to your point. She wasn't built for that life.
No, she was not street. No. No. And she tells Lou, and that was so interesting. I was like, what is going to happen now?
Yeah. And so we make it to the wedding reception.
Which that transition scene, with the guys getting dressed in the shirts,
that was great.
Oh my God,
that was great. Yeah,
that was beautiful. That was a beautiful editing scene. Yeah, and I, in my head as I'm watching this, I kept playing through what I thought was going to happen, and I was always sort of like off. I was never like right, you know. Exactly. And it was spectacular.
It was like perfect amount of pace, perfect amount of tension, perfect amount of attention to detail. As they're buttoning their buttons and putting on the tie and everything, you're thinking you're looking at the same person, but every transition,
it was amazing. And it was like Mark was like, okay, daddy, you know, he all of a sudden looked fantastic.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I was like, look at this.
Yeah,
but he had already sort of broke bad a little bit, right? He was going to go after the guy.
Regardless.
Right. I mean, and I definitely got that he was going to switch out the diamonds. I definitely got that, but I didn't know what he was going to do. I
didn't quite catch on when he went to the evidence locker. I didn't quite catch on to why he was going to the evidence locker until we get to the hotel and he's, you know, we get to the airport and then it's revealed that, you know, he's the one carrying the diamonds and not the guy from Antwerp.
Right. Good memory. I would not have remembered that. I knew he was going to do something with the diamonds. There was going to be like some sort of switch. I only figured out that he was going to become the guy carrying the diamonds when I saw him in the nice suit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That whole time I thought Chris was going to pick up on the fact that this is not the guy.
Okay, so let's discuss that scene. I completely agree with you. I thought for sure Chris knew that was something was fishy, but he didn't.
No.
And I was like, that was such a great moment. I was like, oh my God, he really
even alluded to the fact of, what did he say exact? I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something to the fact of being a thief.
Well, he said, what's your favorite Steve McQueen movie? And he was like, whatever he said. And then he was like, I like Thomas Crown Affair. He's like, never saw it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what that is.
Never caught that.
Never caught that one. And, but, oh my God, that was so well written and acted and tense. That was such a good scene. And like, even when he was like walking into the elevator, I kept waiting for him to go this way and walk away.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And then I thought chaos would come in and that's how it would become chaos's problem. But when Chris went in and, you know, okay, but we need to back up for 1 second.
Okay.
We need to talk about the chase scene between Mike and Orman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yo.
Yes. That was great. But I did not like how the chase scene ended.
Oh, I loved it.
You can't have a full-blown chase scene. You see the guy the car that they hit, the guy is slumped over with the airbag, and then they just mosey on about their day and just leave.
Well, let's break it down. First of all, it was so beautifully shot. When the one car did a side ramp flip, I was like, they are doing things here. Okay. Right. The plot hole for me in that scene, okay, was my man was on a dirt bike.
Yeah. The whole time.
In a slick down street in LA, that's oil. That's he would have wiped out. Could have slid way before he hit the other car. So unbelievable chase scene. Flips over the car. His little head comes poking out. I was like, that's a resilient bastard, right?
Yeah.
And then they go through and they go into the bodega, right? It's not called the bodega in LA, but that's what I call it from New York.
Right.
And that was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And all I kept thinking was, I want to read that script.
Yeah.
Right? The Black Script has scripts on the network now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's one of the scripts we have to get. Because that script, I want to know if all those things he said about you want to kiss me and all those provoking him.
Oh, right. Yes.
I really feel like that was just
he was
that actor going crazy.
Yeah. I want to know. I want to know if that was improv or if
I really, because I felt like it was just like poking him, and he was just like, it was so great. Then I kept, because this character of Mike, who's normally very stoic, calm, was gun out in a grocery store.
Yeah.
My friend, she's so funny. She was like, "Where were the CCTV cameras?" I was like, "That was a poor talent. That they got cameras with no plugs."
Right. Yeah.
There's no cameras in that store. But he still went ahead with it. Yeah. Because when Maya said, "Don't you have enough?" and he's like, "No, he has a number." So nothing was stopping him from moving forward.
Right. Yeah. And you really never knew how well-to-do he was. You knew he was well-to-do.
Oh, he had money.
Yeah, but you never really knew to what degree. And so they left it, to the imagination as to what number in mind he had.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently $11 million would have gotten it done.
I mean, it'd get it done. You know what I'm saying? So now we're in the hotel room with the billionaire, his child bride.
Full circle.
Child bride. Mm-hmm. And Mike pulls the gun.
This was Halle's revenge.
On who?
This was Halle's revenge.
I didn't even think of that.
That's what I was saying, full circle, because they didn't take the deal
with her.
Yeah, and she was mad that they didn't take the deal, and then here comes this young woman coming in to swoop to take her job. So she was playing both. I love that. I didn't even think of that. And the couple that passed on her.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. I love that.
Yeah, this was her revenge.
Oh my God, that's so good. And she wasn't even there. She was chilling at the apartment on the beach. Right.
She was pulling strings like money.
Yes, go ahead, girl. That's amazing. So I love that. I did not think of that. I love that so much. So I loved how I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought maybe Mike would take the cash and leave the diamonds. Mm-hmm. I was stunned when the billionaire got shot. First of all, he didn't feel like a billionaire to me. No. Did he feel like a billionaire? Felt like a millionaire.
Yeah.
Guarantee in this script he's a multi-millionaire. Rich guy. Yeah, he wasn't a billionaire. No. Yeah. A billionaire would not be on the 10th floor of the Bel Air hotel. No. Yeah. He would have a private island.
Right.
Yeah. So they I bet you they like dropped that in after. I bet you that was even ADR. I don't think that it was written as a billionaire.
Yeah. I just don't. They wrestled with the location as to where they were going to have this. I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean,
this all happens before the reception, so they didn't have to spend any money on any lavish decorations or anything like this.
And that's fine. I was okay with that.
In the hotel room pre-wedding,
Right. But they just by making him a billionaire, I felt they didn't rise that character up to a level. Like it wasn't Axel from Billions, right? There's a different level of money that's neither here nor there, right? So and who knows, I don't think I know one billionaire, so I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I agree.
So they shoot him, and now it's a standoff, right? And then in comes Chaos.
Yeah, no, well, it's Chaos who shoots him. Remember, Chaos busts
Oh,
in.
you're right. I forgot that. I flipped it in my mind.
Yeah.
So it was just a standoff between
Right.
the two of them.
Right. And then at that point, Lou says, he makes the billionaire open the safe, and all this time
Chris
Lou is
does. I mean, Mike does.
yes, Mike makes the billionaire open the safe.
And they put the money in the bag.
And they put the money in the bag. He makes the wife put the money in the bag, I believe.
Yes.
And then he makes Lou open the briefcase. Lou opens the briefcase, but it's facing Lou, not Mike. So Mike can't see what's in the briefcase to see that there's a gun. Yeah. And then in comes Chaos and busts in Chaos. And then at that point, or does Lou point the gun and say, I'm the cop first, and then comes Chaos?
Oh no, he does first. You know why? Because that's the billionaire. It's like, hysterical. Shoot him, and everyone's like, shut up. And then Chaos comes in. I'm like, let's just add more salt to the wound.
And so at that point, Lou is like, I'm a cop, so on and so forth. And Chaos was threatening, trying to get everybody to shut up or whatever, and was threatening he was going to shoot. And eventually he gave in and shot.
And what was so interesting is then when he's threatening Lou, and the blood hits, his face and the spatter, and then you realize that was the first bit of violence that, Mike has ever done.
Yeah.
But you know what I loved about it? Because it felt very like Lou was probably the first kind man he'd ever met. And that car drive where someone talked to him and had conversation with him. And, there was a thing there. It felt like brotherly, fatherly,
you're right. Because other than that, the only other person who he spoke to was
a manipulative, using, abuser.
Yeah.
Right. And he's from abuse, and he chose the opposite of Chaos, essentially. Right.
Right.
And this was the part that I thought was so interesting when he's like, just leave.
Yeah.
Right. Just leave. Right. There's the thief. Put the money back in the thing. Put the diamonds.
But you know why I thought that was? Why I think that was written into it? Because earlier on he saw how they planted the gun on the other guy, and they were going to have the police were going to have their own narrative anyway, and so he's basically giving him an out, saying you want to leave now, because if you stick around, the narrative is going to be much different.
For sure.
Get here.
Yeah, and it was.
So I'm giving you an out.
I'm giving you an out.
You don't take the jewelry. You get a chance to walk away, but I'm not going to tell you that I know what you look like. So if we cross,
because think about this: if he had said this is the guy 101, they wouldn't even have wanted that, because that would have unraveled all those other things that they talked about. That guy's already got that guy, and that case has already been solved, and we don't want it to be this one guy. He was like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Right. And here's where I thought this is where there can be another movie. Okay. There's no way a real billionaire, millionaire, multimillionaire, whatever, is going to be satisfied with that outcome. Like, to me, so as it turns out, we see Lou leave, and Lou opens up the real diamonds, right?
Right.
So they've got the fake diamonds, and they're $11 million, and he's like, shut up, or they're going to look into these diamonds, they're going to look into the money, blah blah. So my thinking is, he's not going to like that. These people are egomaniacs, right? They're narcissists. They're not going to want.
He's
to
not
lose,
right? Or investigation into tax fraud or tax evasion,
right? But he's also not going to want to lose, right? If he were to find out that those diamonds are not real, there's something there. The other part, right? The other part of the sequel, money,
and Chris or Mike comes back for Maya.
Well, Mike did come back for Maya.
Well, he did, but he didn't.
He did. He was outside waiting for her.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
they didn't see it, but
that was
sure.
in the closing credit or the closing scene. But
yeah. And but I think there's. I want to find these books. I want to find the book and the short story and see what that's about. And
but another thing is they also showed that there were 2 other boys in that picture.
Yes. Good detail. That's right.
2 other boys in that picture.
So what's that about?
Together and then they'd start doing heists.
Right. Maybe there's another heist to be had. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike's character, Lou's character is now, he shares the diamonds, we assume, with Sharon, right? We can either assume that they are together or they're not together, but she has diamonds and he has diamonds. It's not that easy to get rid of like big fat diamonds.
Right.
How are you getting rid of these diamonds? How are you getting this money? How are you selling these diamonds?
Yeah, it's definitely got to be cash transaction.
Right.
Somebody else is rich that wants them.
Because diamonds are like have numbers in them and everything, right? So like, how are you getting rid of these diamonds? How are you fencing these diamonds?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's so many things that are left unsaid that I felt like really set up for a sequel.
Yeah. What would it be? Crime 101 Part 2?
No, it'd be Crime 405. Oh, the 405. No, it's a bad joke.
No, but I mean, it's good. Because when I read the title and I saw I was thinking Crime 101 as in like the basics of crime.
Yeah, sure. I think that was the play on the game.
Right. But in realizing that there's a 101 freeway, so that all made sense. It played into it. And I thought it was a catchy title to begin with.
Yeah, it was. I didn't, when we saw the trailer for our tier list for the first 6 months of movies in this year, I was really surprised by the trailer. I was like, oh, this is about crime, duh. Right. But like the 101 being the freeway, right? I was totally shocked by that. So I thought, let's also just talk about some of the cinematography, the use of the drones and the upside down shots, and those beautiful wet down scenes and
the car movements and right outside the car window, and gorgeous. Then going into the car and then back out to the
gorgeous.
All of that was great, and like you said, the editing, the cuts between the transitions, all of that was flawless in my opinion.
And how they decided to shoot scenes, whether they were really close or they were far, how frenetic they were, how still they were so perfectly placed with the story, with the characters, right? They really allowed the actors to be still and have their faces tell the story, right? Not just them speaking, but like they really let these actors tell the story with their eyes and tell the story with their gestures.
Right. There's a lot of watching, a lot of observation. Yeah.
Yes. But they also were able to catch these moments when people don't think people are looking at them and their faces shift and reveal what's really going on underneath. Like, and they did it with every character. Like when Maya meets Mike and she's like in this mode, but then you catch her like sort of seeing how gorgeous he is, or when Mike is like noticing her, or when you can see
it looks like genuine.
Yeah, but they did that with every character. Every character had a moment of the mask dropped, and you saw what they were really thinking, what they were really feeling. It was really great, and and when like sort of the rules that each of those characters set up for themselves disappeared, right? Each one of them sort of had rules, right? Like he was the cop, and he was in this police system, and she was, like she was in this dynamic of this corporate insurance world, and even Mike, in the criminal world, he had his order and his rules, and then all of it all goes to shit.
Yeah.
For all of them have a breakdown of their rules and their systems and their,
all because he decided to, break break one of the rules and go down a different timeline if he had just stuck to what
wait, who say more about that? What do you mean?
Mike.
Who did that?
Mike did.
What did he do? What time he just
he chose
did he do?
When he saw when Maya ran into the back of him, he made the conscious decision to ask her.
I disagree with you. I'm going to tell you I disagree.
Why do you say that? I think he genuinely wanted to know more about her because he showed interest. He was into her just like she was into him.
I think this is a strange take, but I think the inciting incident happened before the movie started, when the first jeweler guy brought his cousin.
Well, yes, everything spiraled from there. Yes,
had the regular guy shown up and had a regular gun, he would have had one gun. The other guy wouldn't have been nervous. He wouldn't have given him the Glock. That he wouldn't have the gun in the car.
Right. That was the domino.
That was the domino that fell.
That was the domino. Absolutely.
Mike was pretty on point until that moment, and then when the gun misfired, and he was driving like a lunatic, and then everything just went.
Right.
Yeah. And you're not wrong about that moment with Maya. I mean, that was a choice.
Yeah.
He chose life for a moment there. Right. And even, and her sort of being kind of cliche, I'm the cool girl, I ask the cool questions. I was just like, all right, whatever, I would have liked another layer for her, but
whatever. She seemed down to earth, not, like kind of regular. And I think deep down he wanted regular and never got a chance to experience regular. And they really didn't spend that much time on it for you to continue to think about it.
Yeah, I agree with you. So there are a couple questions that we'd like to ask each other. Like, do you have a favorite scene?
Favorite scene? Definitely the bodega scene, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the chase scenes. For me, I think it's got to be the transitions and the camera.
Yes, I agree with you about that. If I were to pick a scene, I think any scene when Halle Berry was in the boardroom, like those scenes, I really enjoyed watching her process.
Yeah,
that what was happening to her in real time.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you could see the raw emotion. It was believable from beginning to end.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Also, transitions, the cross cutting, the choices, how to get us in and out of scenes was top tier.
Yeah.
Top tier.
Definitely watchable in my opinion. I feel like this movie was highly slept on. It deserves more theater time in my opinion. Like I said, we only had 2 showings in my area, or at least in my theater close to home.
Yeah.
And
it's a marketing issue.
Yeah, if you don't get a chance to watch it in theaters, it's definitely a must watch once it comes to on demand. Easily enjoyable.
It's the best movie I've seen for the year so far.
Yeah.
No, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, all-star cast, acting was great, directing was great, visuals were great.
Yeah.
It kept you on your toes.
So that's I think that's all for us. But I want to say, everybody, if you can join our Patreon, give us a visit at our website. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a subscribe, give us a like. And thank you so much for watching The Watchers. I'm Victoria. Bye.
I'm Kevin. See you guys later.